Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Football. It's football, Tom.
Football.
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 Yeah, we love it.
We love
football.
futs.
We love it a futs.
We love it a futs. You know, you kick a ball with the futs.
You kick the ball.
Kick a ball with the futs.
Yeah. My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched The Damned United.
Damned United.
Frost v. Meanie. Here we go.
In 1973, England's most beloved soccer coach was Don Revie.
Best manager in the country, Don Revie. Prepares a file on every game. Leaves nothing to chance. They're here.
But one man would change everything.
Welcome to Derby, Don. Pleasure to meet you.
He's a real meanie.
It's a real meanie.
Before we get started, big thank you to Harris and Millie, our Patreon producers.
Thank you.
Who had us watch this movie for some for some clear reasons, I would say. I had never seen this. But thank you, Harris and Millie, so
thank
much.
you. I had not seen this either. Nope.
Director of Cats.
Yeah, Tom Hooper.
Yeah. Yeah, and other things. The what is it, the King's Speech and some other
Miserables.
Yeah, but mostly Cats. Yeah, Cole Meany and Michael Sheen facing off. It's a football based on a true story. It's one of those stories that I like. One of those movies that personally I wouldn't have gone near.
Right, because it's like twofold. One, it's soccer, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah,
and also it's British pop culture, which I have no connection to and no knowledge of.
And for me, it's also a sports drama,
right?
Which I'm like, I always like them when I watch them, but it's hard to get me to sit down and watch it. It's like homework.
Yeah, you got to kind of trap me sometimes. Well, sometimes I'm really into sports documentaries.
Right.
But like, it took me a while to watch Moneyball.
I like Moneyball too.
I did too. It just took me a while to watch it.
Right. I watched it pretty quick because I don't know. I think for me, it's like you need, like, Moneyball was like, it's Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. And I'm like, that's kind of fun. I'll watch that. Where it's like, you need to, like, trick me, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, if you had
these two.
If you had told me the cast of this movie, like this movie is ridiculous with its cast.
Oh, yeah. It's got so many Harry Potters.
We got a Michael Sheen. We got a Timothy Spall. We got a Cole Meany.
Yep.
We got a Jim Broadbent.
Yep. Michael Sheen.
Yeah. We got a Ralph Ineson. A stealth Ralph Ineson.
Wait, where was he in
He was one of the reporters.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I think it's one of the first times that Michael Sheen runs his mouth off. It's when Ralph Ineson is the reporter.
Okay. Man, Michael Sheen has the face of a man who either exists in the 60s.
Tommy from Snatch. Tommy from Snatch is the team captain of Leeds.
Yeah.
I love that he either plays weenies or like the meanest motherfucker alive.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
And Michael
He's
Sheen.
either Tommy or the nastiest dude ever. Okay, sorry.
No. Similarly, Michael Sheen either looks like he belongs in the 1960s or 3060. Like, it's one or the other, but it's nothing in between.
He also kind of plays similar characters, too. He's also, he's usually either kind of a funny, kind of, you know, like Aziraphale in Good Omens, like funny but not particularly threatening or strong. And then he'll just be like a weird, scary villain.
Remember
Apostle? Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
Yeah. A little film called Underworld.
Yes.
I mean,
man.
Timeline. It's not a good movie, but he's the bad guy in Timeline.
He's there. This movie is told out of order. It's two stories that sort of kind of meet in the middle. It's Oh, how did you like this movie?
I liked it a lot, actually.
Me too. I'll sum it up. It's Old Boy for sports movies. That's my take on it. And what I mean is that it's a revenge movie that ends up being a practice in humility.
Yeah.
It's about a man going on tilt, spinning out, and then learning to like fucking tamp that down and move on.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah, and then when he moves on, he becomes like one of the best coaches in England's history, apparently.
Yeah, he doesn't cut out his tongue and get hypnotized.
No live
but
squids.
There is a moment that's almost as excruciating, like the interview at the end where you're like, oh, God damn.
Oh, my God. That was brutal.
Yeah, so for
that
people
was
who
like
haven't
such
seen it,
just twisting the knife at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my God.
I really liked it because, again, Old Boy for sports movie. Sorry to spoil Old Boy or the vibe of Old Boy, but
we're not spoiling it entirely.
No. Oh, no. Go watch Old Boy.
Yeah.
Also, it's like 25 years old. So,
fuck, you're right. It is.
I know. It's fucked up. So, like, that's all to say. Watching it, I was expecting, like, oh, okay, I get it. It's this guy who's trying to prove himself to Cole Meany. He gets shot down.
He's not trying to prove himself to Cole Meany. Oh, wait, I see what you're saying. Initially, he's just trying to be. Like they're having like Leeds is coming to play in their little third division like country ass football club that's in disrepair and stuff.
Right.
So he's just trying to make it look like he I don't know, like they're getting he wants to, it's a huge deal to have Leeds there for the whole town. It's a huge deal to have Leeds there. So he's just trying to make it look like we have to look like a Division 1 football club because we're going to have Leeds here. And and you're right, when Cole Meany shows up, he's just a fucking dick. He doesn't even won't even acknowledge him.
It's more about what Colm represents, right? Which is like, he's the big dog. It's like if Hillary Clinton came over to my house, I'd clean up. Yeah. That doesn't mean I like Hillary Clinton necessarily.
No, but like you'd clean up. And like, if she came in and didn't make eye contact with you and didn't shake your hand as she left, you'd be like, well, fuck Hillary Clinton for like the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Now, however, what Michael Sheen does is he says, fuck Cole Meany and ruins his life over it.
Yeah. And I guess what I expected at a certain point was I was like, okay, the third act is going to be like your wife left you. Everything's bad.
She does just kind of vanish, doesn't she?
She sure does, yeah.
You just kind of notice, wait, his wife is not there anymore.
Yeah. But I fully expected at the end he'd be like, and he showed them all. He won the big game. And that's not what happens at all.
But not in this story. Yeah, that's not what the story is about.
Yeah, because basically it's like, and then he gets fired. Yeah,
and then he fucking
humiliated.
Yeah, like it's like Supernova, like a spectacularly public failure. He gets fired from Leeds in 6 months. I'm not 6 months, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
48 like days, I think he says. Yeah.
Yeah, so for people who haven't watched it, Leeds is the rival team at first. That basically his team in
apparently like one of the biggest football clubs in England. Again, I'm completely ignorant of English pop culture, so if what I'm saying sounds incredibly stupid, it is incredibly stupid.
Right.
Anyway, apparently it's a huge team. It's like the Lakers of England.
Right, yeah. And like his little team is in like, I don't know, they're
Division
like
3.
Charlie Brook or like
they're Derby.
Derby, there you go.
Yeah.
I joke about the names,
Derby or something. I forget.
I don't know. The names are silly, but I have to note at the end when he drives to the beach, the sign says Northampton, which is the name of the town I was born in New England. So we just copied their names. Is my point.
Did you notice the first word in the state's name?
New England.
Yeah, New England. Or not
New England.
The area,
yeah. We were like,
I grew up in Portsmouth. There's a Portsmouth in England.
Yeah. We weren't creative, is the point.
No.
Especially Massachusetts.
Shit,
yeah, Massachusetts, all either England or Native Americans, like the names are. And it's just like, we just came over here and took. Mm-hmm. Took or used. That's it.
That's a nice name. Just take the name.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Anyway, fuck. So
I'll tell you what messes me up is that Derby is spelled Derby.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't do it right. They need to spell it better.
Kept messing me up.
Yeah. So Derby is so his team, and basically he thinks Leeds are cheaters.
They are.
They are. We don't
They're
see
like
that
the
much of
fucking
it.
Raiders.
I was surprised. Yeah.
No, we see enough of it.
We do, and we get the vibe that's
They're
like
pirates.
they're playing rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the idea
Stephen
is that
Graham gets suspended for 11 games. Like the first game he plays as their coach. Like he punches two people.
Yeah, no, what I thought was interesting, and this isn't really a critique, but they don't show that much up until that point. Mm-hmm. Meaning that, like, they don't show it when he's playing against them. They show one part where the guy pretends to get fouled.
They show a couple. They show a couple at that first game, I think.
A couple, but they don't. I mean, they don't show much because I noticed how sneaky the budget is in a way that's really well done. The one thing you don't really see in this
is a lot of soccer,
football. Yeah. And because these big arena games, I don't think they had that kind of money. So they use at one point footage from the game.
They have a smaller.
Yeah,
they
but what
insert
they do
the actors into old footage. Sorry.
Oh no, what they do that's really good, because I didn't even notice, it's just such a cool idea, is they show like a conversation. They show like him in the locker room being like, "All right guys, come on, let's do this." And then they all go out, and then it just shows the score of like, and they lost. Like
or the
it
one
just kept
when the
doing
first time
that,
they win.
Yeah.
Where he's sitting in his office, and it's just you can see the windows behind him and the crowd getting up and down, and you can hear the roar. So that's like the only thing that's how he's like
I wanted to talk about that
determining
scene
what's
too.
going on. Yeah.
Because that scene is also really smart, because the first game you see him at, right, he's with his team. He's like, yeah, let's do it. When Cole Meany goes there, he's just watching Cole Meany.
Yeah.
He's not watching the game. He doesn't care. His assistant coach, the rat.
Spall.
The rat.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, are you okay? And then at the halfway point, he's not even there. He's inside, downstairs, he doesn't even care about the game anymore. He just cares about, did we win or lose? That's it. He can't even watch it anymore. He's too stressed. And that's such a good progression of like, he doesn't even give it. He's not even enjoying himself.
Right. He's so on tilt.
Yeah. But that conveniently also makes it so that it's below budget and you don't see that stuff. And then I really like when he finally gets Leeds and he's fighting with the players, and they say like, there's going to be you don't have to justify yourself to us, but there's going to be 40,000 people out there tomorrow, and you're going to have to justify yourself to them. They all walk away. He looks out in the empty field, and then they just put the losing score under him, and it was just like, oh, that's brutal.
Yep. Man,
like that is really smart filmmaking, and like really, like it was like it kept it again under budget.
Also kept it moving. Like it's like 97 minutes, and sports dramas have a tendency to be over 2 hours just because they show a lot of like game footage and stuff.
Right. That's what I'm learning about myself. I don't like the sports dramas that show the sports. If that makes sense.
No, it totally does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being interested in Dark Side of the Ring, but not necessarily watching WWE.
Right. Yeah.
Or I am interested in sports documentaries, but I do not watch much sports on my own.
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of drama around sports because it's this very binary goal. It's we want to win. That's
and there's a thing about it,
trying to do.
At least for me, I don't know. I maybe just be assuming how universal this feeling is, but there's something about sports, like even though it's this nakedly huge machine of commerce, like it's just a big profit machine. But like there is something about sports where you get like it feels like I don't know, noble or something. Like you feel like this, like we care that people cheat, You know, like Stephen Graham's punching somebody. You're like, you fucker. Like, you know, like we feel like this, like we can watch sports and get, like, even though it's these people are getting paid lots of money and they're selling millions of dollars or tickets and merchandise and stuff, like the competition of it, like there's still something so elemental about it that you just get invested in like the contest of like one side coming out over the other side and like the human drama of that. And it's interesting how that just works on people. Like, is that the same way for you?
Yeah, well, again, it's binary. It's like we have a set of rules. Mm-hmm. It's who will win, who will lose. There's the good guys,
right?
The
Who's
bad
genuinely
guys.
The best, right? And so like when somebody's cheating, like fucker. Like we were just talking about wrestling. It's like you said, it's binary in wrestling too.
Right? Yeah, sports is very. I don't know. There's no surprise why like sports is so like
it's the
filled
Olympics
with drama.
Yeah. Like we try to do the Olympics as like the thing that I guess shows what the world could be, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we chose sports for that specifically.
Sports has heart and soul. It has the heart of rock and roll. It has I Want a New Drug. Mm-hmm. Weirdly, it doesn't have the Power of Love on it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Which always weirded me out. Great album, though.
It is, though. Yeah, it's the one that made them. Hip to Be Square is on. No, it's not on sports.
No, Hip to Be Square is not on sports. That's what's so weird about sports. Is like
it has every other hit.
Right. I guess Power of Love was tied in with Back to the Future, so that's probably why it wasn't there. But it's weird that it doesn't have Hip to Be Square on it. Like that's weird to me.
They should retroactively put it on there.
You get a best of. You just got to get a best of with him, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, good film. What else? Sorry. We're talking about
the
sports.
Huey Lewis reference.
But yeah, like Moneyball I also like. And that's another one where you're like, you don't really see the actual sports.
No,
it doesn't
not at all.
matter. Or, I mean, it's very problematic, but Slapshot is very specifically, you see a lot of sports, like the game in that, but it's not about winning or losing. It's about just putting on a spectacle, I guess. So, like, I don't know, I guess there's got to be kind of a meta game with sports. Like, I'm literally trying to think, was there ever a sports movie where it was about a team winning the big game and that's the movie? You know what I mean? Like even Rocky isn't about that, where it's like sports.
Right, where you get like lost in the trope and then you actually, like I think we did a bit of this when we talked about Commando on our Arnold Schwarzenegger show.
Right.
But it's like you start thinking about the trope and you're like, wait, did that trope ever really exist? It's sort of like like nobody ever said beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Where it's like, what are they subverting?
I'm thinking there must be like Miracle, that's just about the hockey team winning.
Right.
But of course it's the Olympics game, the America against the Soviet Union, so it's not just like, does that count as being different? Or is that still like winning the big game, because it technically is?
I don't know.
Like remember the Titans?
I don't think I've seen that one. I don't know.
But you know the story, right? It's when the US men's hockey team beat USSR.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, the movie Miracle's about that.
I assume there's probably more like
Angels in the
interpersonal
outfield.
Drama. Yeah, yeah, but Angels in the Outfield, they have to add fucking angels to that. I don't know. Yeah.
An angel.
Is Alive a sports movie? Does Alive count as a sports film?
I think it's our responsibility to say yes that it does.
Okay.
There's not a lot of sports footage in that either.
No, very little. Mm-hmm. Very little. Shit.
But yeah, there are plenty of sports movies that are just about winning the big game. So I totally get why those can just kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
But like I like stuff like this more, like a Moneyball, where it's at like a different angle. It's like, well, he's going to use like math and weird statistics to just like fucking jackleggedly put together this super team. And there's a little bit of that in this. But it's also like the relationship between him and his assistant coach.
This is like, no, this is why I'm curious about like why it was told out of order. and like certain things of like what their intention was, because
I think so that doesn't reveal it. Because if we knew why he and Pete weren't working together, then what happens to him at Leeds would have been a foregone conclusion.
I think so too, and I think it's to show, it's basically this idea that there's almost like his going on tilt comes in two waves, and they wanted to make it one big wave. Mm-hmm. So what I mean is that like, and this is why again it felt like Old Boy. So like one of the first scenes is him going. What is his character's name? Michael Sheen. It's like
Brian Clough.
Clough, yeah. Is Clough showing up, and he's like kind of a jackass.
He's a bit of a prick.
Like, yeah, and I don't, not knowing anything about the story, I'm just like, oh, this guy's kind of a funny prick, right? Like he shows up, the way he's sort of talking to the reporters. He's very like he seems to be just like, I'm the best. And you get this, like, I don't know about the chip on his shoulder yet. He goes into Leeds.
He just totally seems like he's going to light the place up. And, like, they're saying he has the reputation as the best manager. And he's like, I'm the best manager. So you're just like, oh, well, this guy's a bit of an asshole. But clearly he's earned that reputation.
Right. And then you're like, okay, I guess that's the premise. And then he kind of introduces, like, so all of your trophies, I want you to throw them out because you're a bunch of cheating fucks. And we're going to play without cheating. And so then I was like, oh, okay, is this like a slap shot where it's like, we got to clean up our act, like this group of people who weren't used to playing fair are now going to have to learn to play fair, and they're going to have to like win the big game that way. And he has them play, 7-on-7 or whatever. He has them play basically this really basic version.
Like a basic scrimmage that you'd do in Little League.
Right, and they're like, "This is bullshit," and he's like, "I'll jump in and play." And one of them, he eats shit. One of them takes him out.
Yeah,
and you have all the basic setups of like he's outside and he hears them saying how he's a
just
joke,
dogging him.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, okay, he's going to prove himself to them, and he's going to earn their respect. And once you get to the end, very noticeably, there's a second scene of him listening outside the door as they're now telling the owners, like, get rid of him.
Yeah.
And then they do. But you expect this, like, oh, he's going to turn it around. And then you see the upbringing in his rival with Cole Meany. And so, yeah, I very quickly painted this picture of this other movie, right? Where it's like, yes, his obsession's going to get the better of him. There'll be the part where his assistant coach, Ron's rat. All right,
the rat, Mr.
Scabbers, that's his name. Sorry. I assumed it was going to be a part of like, you've changed, man.
Mm-hmm. There's a bit of that.
Yeah, and they said a little bit that they have the part. It's funny though because he's just as obsessed as, like, there's the part where he calls him and he's having dinner with his family.
Yeah.
If you notice that Scabbers also has his family in the background.
Yeah, they're both whispering on the phone, so their
and then they both just leave.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh yeah, they're both fucked up.
Yeah, they're both maniacs for this stuff, but he's content. Like, he wants to build the teams with Michael Sheen. Like, that's the enjoyment he gets out of it, is building the teams themselves and watching them win. And like they have their break later because Michael Sheen fucks up their job in Derby.
Yeah, Scabbers has a heart attack, and then while he's recovering, Michael Sheen basically just goes. He submits their letters of resignation as like a
negotiating.
To like call.
Yeah,
as a negotiating tactic, and then they go, accept it.
Yep.
And he basically has to come out of the hospital like, you got me fired, man?
Yeah. So Timothy Spall gets them a new gig down in Brighton, where they're getting paid a boatload of money, like a Division I salary, plus like $7,000 as a signing bonus, plus this dude pays them to go on vacation. And so while they're on vacation, Michael Sheen gets offered the job to go coach Leeds, and he's telling Timothy Spall, he's like, man, we got to take this. It's great. And he's like, well, no, that's not our team. That's Cole Meany's team. Like, even if you win this year, you'll have won with Cole Meany's team. Don't you want to Like, we can build our own team here in Brighton and we can take them to the championship just like we did in Derby. Like, why wouldn't you? They're paying us what we would earn. Like, but all he can see is like the big league, and he just wants to take Cole Meany's job and prove that he can win the European title, which is something that Cole Meany never did.
Right, and at that point, it's like he doesn't even really know why. He drunk dials Cole Meany at one point.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's like it feels like he's going to kill Cole Meany, and it's like ultimately it's not really about him. It's like spun out of control where it's like Cole doesn't do anything wrong. It's Cole Meany.
Yeah, what would he ever do wrong?
Exactly. God, if I had Cole Meany's number, I would call him all the time. But
in the middle of the night.
Yeah. But yeah, the point is that it's like Cole Meany is
probably like the sweetest old Irishman.
Yeah. Not when I get through with him. He'll be doing restraining orders. You'll see. But no, it just like it's clear that Cole Meany just represents this abstract,
right?
Like frustration. I mean, it's also not abstract. It's like these fuckers are cheaters. He's on tilt again. It's like when you're at poker and you keep losing against like a specific person, and then you start making dumber and dumber plays when that person is in, because you just want to beat the one person that keeps. And it's like it is about them, but it's also kind of about you at that point,
Yeah. That's more you at that point.
Yeah, like they have become the target of your frustration, but it's not.
They represent it more than actually being the cause of it. And they do an interesting thing with Cole Meany where they never really have him say or do anything directly. Yeah, like you can get. Well, no, he is dismissive of Michael Sheen when he talks about him as a coach, but like the fact that he doesn't shake his hand. It's a great, like you could believe that he just didn't see him because he's down in the dugout and he shakes hands with Timothy Spall and the trainer. Right. You could believe that he thought Timothy Spall was the coach.
This is part of the twist. It's the Madman meme. It's I don't think about you at all.
Yes.
It's that. This is such a weird comparison, but did you ever see the movie Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon?
No, nor the British original.
It's not a good movie, but there's a part and for the record, I had to watch it. There was a bus you could take to Fenway from Western Mass, and when you get on the bus, they just play Fever Pitch on the bus, whether you liked it or not. And so that's how I watched Fever Pitch. But there's a scene where the Red Sox
people watched Fever Pitch.
The premise of Fever Pitch is a guy obsessed with the Red Sox, right? And he's like devastated whenever they lose and stuff. And there's a part where they lose a big game. He's devastated, and then he sees two of the players having dinner and realizing that the players don't care, where it's like, to them, it's just work. Like, I've devastated and they're having dinner. It's that idea. It's just like this thing in his mind. Cole Meany is just like, yeah, man, it's just, I might not have seen you. I don't know. It's just like, I'm just doing my thing. I don't really care about you one way or the other.
Yeah,
it makes it even more devastating throughout, where it's like, he's so worked up about this guy who clearly doesn't care.
Yeah, and he just keeps getting more and more mad. Now, I'm not trying to like completely let Colm off the hook, because he's a prick, like clearly he is.
Yeah.
And he is behaving like Darby is beneath him when they go there.
Yeah.
But like Michael Sheen takes it so personally.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't take it personally. He's just an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, he's not thinking about you, Tom, at all.
Like, he soaped those boys down with his own hands.
Yep, I massaged those boys.
That was a best Cole Meany line. That whole scene where he's talking about it, the Chief O'Brien comes out there, because Chief O'Brien, especially in DS9, often has to defend himself often. And that felt very Chief O'Brien.
Like his actions.
Yeah, he keeps getting put on trial and like all this. He has a really hard time in DS9.
It happens to a lot of not the engineers, but the what's his rank?
He's well, I think he's chief engineer on DIA.
He is. Okay, yeah, he's chief engineer.
I think so. He gets promoted. Yeah.
Yeah. Scotty weirdly got in trouble. Like Scotty found himself on trial for murder one time.
Oh yeah, Chief O'Brien
for murdering a sex worker in space.
Like Skinner.
Yeah, quite literally, because she was murdered by the immortal spirit of Jack the Ripper.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Chief O'Brien lived in mine prison for 20 years. They did a one where he
they interlighted him.
Yeah, where he basically on a planet gets arrested, and then they make him carry out his sentence of 20 years in his mind. And by the time they get to them, Starfleet, they're like, well, we did it. And it's like, can we undo it? And they're like, no, he's just going to have those memories. And it basically becomes, he's like institutionalized. Like, it gets really dark.
Yeah, that would destroy
and it's basically, yeah, it's basically him trying to like get his life back after these memories were implanted.
Man, that's a fucked up thing to do to somebody.
It's fucked up.
Like
it's
60 seconds passes, but in their minds, it's been 20 years. Star Trek's a pretty good show. Anyway, back to the Damned United.
No, all right. Going back to why they tell the story the way they do, the other thing that occurs to me is that when he walks into Leeds and they're like, he's now doing Leeds, you get this idea that it's like, oh, so he went up in the ranks, and they were like, you're doing so great, we want you to take Leeds. Mm-hmm. And what they're not revealing that's really important is that he busted out, got a rescue job, got this really good opportunity that's not grand, but it's like you said, it pays really well. They get these vacations, and then gives it up out of spite to get to Leeds, and that's really important. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
yeah,
it's a revenge story. It's the moment of a revenge story where they're like, just cut your losses, man.
Right? Yeah,
and then they just can't.
You could just get on the bus and leave. With $1 million.
They just can't let it go.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it also like related to that. Like it happens so immediately. Like you were saying, you do get the sense of, oh, he spent, because it's not just that like they're told in different timelines, and now he's the coach of Leeds. There's like 5 years in between it. Like him in Derby is 1969, and then him at Leeds is 1974. So yeah, you're just assuming like, oh, for the next 5 years, like he rose through the ranks, and that's kind of what he did. He did that with Derby. But when he gets himself fired from Derby, it's like within the same year that he's picked up at Leeds. So it's like it wasn't like it was sort of like Colin Trevorrow directing Safety Not Guaranteed and then getting a Jurassic World. Like he did prove himself, but kind of not really. Like it's like he had a really good run with this team, so now they've made him the coach of the Yankees.
And to which he immediately shows up, treats all the players with disdain.
Insults them all.
Yeah. Gets I get beat what up by one of them.
I get what he was doing. I get what he was going for. But don't start your first day calling them all shitty cheaters that need to throw out all their trophies.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it so funny. Why it's like, oh, okay, he's like, I'm going to whip you all into shape.
Yeah.
But it's like, you better be able to actually do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to spin out, and that's what happens. Right, it's like, have you ever had a new manager that comes in and they're like, we're throwing out the rule books?
We all had that manager.
It's Doge. He's trying to Doge.
He's doging it. Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna take everything down and start over.
Oh, this is why that was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where they're like, motherfucker, we do things a certain way here. You have to adapt to us.
Right. That's another thing that he keeps. It's another good, I guess, way that another good part of his character where he just he does not see how low on the rung he truly is as a head coach. And I mean, that's kind of true across the board, like in American sports too. Like, you can be the winningest coach in the world, doesn't matter, because the people who actually run the team and make the decisions are the owners, the people who have the money.
Yeah, you're replaceable.
Exactly. And you are 1,000 times more replaceable than a player.
Right. He goes in, he's so unmalleable. You know what? It's like when Tuvok has to train the Maquis in Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, probably.
And Yeah, and he's like a rigid Starfleet type, and the Maquis are used to being like terrorists, and he's trying to train them like Starfleet, and it's like, no, you have to meet them in the middle.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Star Trek? And so, but it is the same where she shows up and he's like, you're going to do things my way, and it's just like, yeah, we're just going to get you fired.
No, we're just going to sandbag you for 4 games.
And again, this is why, again, it feels like Old Boy. It really did for me, where it's like it starts with these expectations, it becomes a revenge movie, and then the person spins out in a way that is the opposite in ultimate humiliation.
Yeah, and I like the way that they tell it with the 2 timelines counting down to his failure, because he hits them both at the same time.
Yeah.
And it just, like, to have both stories be running concurrently, and your expectation is that he's going to come out on top in one of them. Yeah. He just doesn't.
No, I mean, they do find a way to make it so it all ends with Michael Sheen having an interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets fired, and he sits down for an interview, and it's literally Frost v. Nixon. That's what I thought was very funny. Yeah, I guess Frost v. Nixon wasn't an ambush.
Frost v. Nixon wasn't an ambush, but
it's just these were a year apart, and I just think it's funny that everybody looked at Michael Sheen. They're like, he's got like 70s TV interview face.
Yeah,
that's what but it's an ambush. Yeah, they bring in Cole Meany, and he just gets owned by Cole on this interview.
They just blow a lot of smoke up Cole Meany's ass.
And he makes it clear that he's like, you didn't shake my hand. And it's so clear that it's like it's just personal. Mm-hmm. And he basically airs this dirty laundry at Cole Meany, like, I was personally slighted by you. And Cole basically just goes like, I didn't mean to. Like, oh, I didn't see you. Sorry.
Yeah, I shook hands. Like, yeah. He's like, no, you didn't.
And his kids are there.
Yeah,
and it's just like, we're going to humiliate you on TV in front of your kids. And he just loses it. He loses the argument, essentially, because they get cut off by a commercial. And Cole is like, all right, bye.
The interviewer is favoring Cole Meany too. And, it's it's the thing that keeps happening to him. It's like he's coming up against these small transgressions because he's not part of the boys club, so he keeps bumping up against it and being told he's not part of the boys club, and he keeps taking it personally when he really shouldn't, and that's what ultimately does. What's a perfect scene, because at this point you're like, is he going to just get a gun? And is he going to Jack Ruby Cole Meany? Where it's like, that's the point where it's like him. he's been the only way I can conquer him.
Yeah, he's been publicly humiliated in front of his kids.
Yeah.
And that can go one of 2 ways. And I think what makes this story, I don't know how true it is. In fact, I read that this guy's family contests some of it.
I'm sure they do.
But what makes this a unique story, and if it was true, is he's in the car with his kids, and the moment he, is going to like go buy a gun, this is where he'd buy the gun to Jack Ruby Cole Meany, he smirks and he goes like, man, I've been a real ass. Like, and it's this idea that like at this rock bottom moment of like humiliated, he realizes like, yeah, I did this to myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
Like, this was stupid. What am I doing? Like, and he finds humility in that moment of like, and he's not a bad guy. He's not the villain of this story, but he's gone on tilt.
Yeah.
It's a person realizing, oh, I've gone on tilt. I need to fucking stop and move on. And he goes back and he finds Scabbers, and Scabbers makes him like beg on his knees.
Yep. Again, in front of his kids.
Yeah.
His children are going to have a weird concept of him.
Yeah.
Weird image of their father.
Yeah, it's weird. I assume that's why maybe the family contested it, because they're like, I don't remember my father begging Scabbers for friendship. But,
no.
And then they go on to say, he went on to become one of the greatest coaches.
Yeah, and Cole Meany fucking lost and died of shame in the wilderness.
Yeah.
That's basically what they say.
Yeah, and then he went to mine jail.
Yeah,
mined prison.
He went to the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah,
Emiratis. I never remember how to say that.
Yeah, the idea is he's
and then he
like
plays like Division III soccer, and then he just kind of like vanishes into the soccer field of dreams.
Right. It's a story of like quick victories, cheating versus principles.
Right. Like the people. Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, if you have principles, you will lose. You will lose. But ultimately, it's still a good, like in this case, they're saying ultimately you get rewarded. Where I would argue it's like, it's more complicated than that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still like, ultimately, what else can you do, right? But have morals and principles, Yeah. I get it. Where it's like, if I was a sportsman, I'd rather play my best and be the biggest loser than cheat and be a winner.
Right.
Personally.
It's and there's also the corner cutting idea where it's like you've been exposed. Like he goes to coach the European team, and it's just like, oh, you're exposed now that you don't just have like a bunch of hooligans that'll get fouls all the time.
Right, exactly. Where it's like, because that's the idea, right? Is like, it's the idea of if you get ahead by cheating, eventually you'll get so big that everybody will know. In theory, you can also get,
king of the world.
King of the world. Yes.
Pretty good.
But again, it's sort of the hope that in the end everybody sort of. I think this is why people like religion so much, right? The idea of like, well, once they die,
don't worry, they'll get theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I do think that this is a weird conversation.
Yeah, we're going a lot of places.
I do think that people who feel like where you look at them and you're like, they don't deserve to be successful and be so terrible are also some of the most miserable people in the world. So I like where it's like, I don't look at those people and go, I want to be them. Right. Like I don't want their lives. Their lives seem like a waking hell.
Yeah.
So I do think like personally that things do balance themselves out. You know what I mean? Regardless of someone getting caught for the most part.
Maybe. I don't know.
I do like to think that there are a lot of people who where I'm like, their life seems like hell. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
like
no,
Elon
it does.
Musk.
It does seem
I don't
that...
want his life. His life seems like punishment enough.
Right.
Where it's like,
no, it does seem like it catches up to those people more often than not.
Yeah. I just think it naturally does.
That's I agree with that.
Yeah, the idea that if you spend...
Maybe not while they're alive, but...
Right, but even while you're alive, if you spend your life burning bridges and being a scumbag... that's gonna
get up to you eventually, yeah.
Right. Even if you're sitting on a pile of money, you're lonely in that pile eventually. Or it's like this hollowness to your life where it's like, next thing you know, you're on a private jet trying to play the tutorial of a game while everybody in the chat is calling you a loser. Like, it's just like, it's... I don't know.
Yeah, it's dark. It's dark, man.
Yeah, it's not even like karmic. It's just like, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens
when you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
a lot of philosophical corners today, Dave.
Yeah. And Star Trek and Huey Lewis. I mean, this movie invokes a lot of things.
Yeah. Philosophy, like I said.
Yeah. It is a very good movie.
The great philosopher Hubert Lewis.
Yeah. I like this.
Hubert, Louisiana.
What else? He did The King's Speech.
Yeah, Les Miserables.
I haven't seen Les Miserables.
I liked Les Miserables.
I saw Cats.
Yeah.
He makes two types of movies, it seems like.
Musicals and English dramas.
Right, and I guess what I'll say
English
is that...
dramedies.
I haven't seen The Danish Girl yet, but I should.
Oh, me either. Yeah, I need to see that.
Because this and The King's Speech... He made those back to back. He also directed many John Adams episodes.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I just want to say he's in that slot of like movies that when you look at the offer, you're like, I can't possibly be entertained by that. You know what? Like the King's Speech was one where I was like, "Oh Christ!"
Oh yeah, that was totally that was one I went to with my mom. I'm like, yeah, sure, British drama. I like these actors.
Right, and then you watch it and you're like, "This is thrilling.
Pretty good.
I'm really enjoying.
Really
this.
invested in this man being able to get through his speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Really invested in his relationship with his speech therapist.
Their biggest problem is getting people to sit down to watch the movie.
Yes,
that's what I mean. Like this one, you know what it should have been? They should have had a dog play soccer in this one.
Yeah.
And Colm will be like, "There's,"
or just have Timothy Spall be a talking rat.
Yeah, fuck it.
Give him an animal sidekick.
Yeah, give him. Yeah,
if we're already playing with historical accuracy, let's just go for it, man.
Yeah, fuck it.
Throw Snoopy in there.
Ooh, yeah.
Snoopy would be pretty sick. But yeah,
I
really like this movie
as the voice of Snoopy. Yeah, I like this movie too.
Yeah, it was. That's it. Yeah, no, that was it. It was really well done. And yeah, Tom Hooper. I was gonna say he's a little bit of a Joe Wright. Like he'll either make
Joe Wright?
He made Hannah and also Pan.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Cats. Can you think of a single director who could have made Cats good?
Man,
Baz Luhrmann.
Yes.
would at least make Cats what it needs to be. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, where it's like it's Cats.
Yeah. I think I mean, I
People
think
who liked Cats
biggest problem with
liked it.
Cats was they didn't do the costumes.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah. Unpopular opinion, I know, but the effects didn't look very good.
Yeah, I know. But it's also Cats. It's also a fever
Cats
dream.
is a fucking That show is madness.
Yeah. So it's all to say that
it's just
like,
a roster call.
You're right. They made no one making Cats was like, this is going to be huge.
No, it's going to be Cats.
It's going to be Cats.
I mean, they expected it to be huge, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because Cats was huge.
They should have done the costumes just to cut down costs, you know? But you're right. This director, it just seems like the dramas he does, it's not only that they're good, but they're really smart. Like, again, this is very smartly made. It's like keeping the budget down while sort of
I wonder,
keeping the drama up, you know, where it's like it doesn't feel like they did it for budget.
I wonder if the musical background has anything to do with that, because, you know, you have to do a lot of abstract or impressionistic stuff when you're on a stage.
Maybe.
And so, I don't know. I mean, obviously Les Miserables is not on a stage. It's like this big, grand movie with all these sets and locales. But you'd
good?
certainly... His version?
Yeah.
I liked it. I think people were generally mixed on it, maybe, but it got a couple of Academy Award nominations.
All right. Yeah.
For Hathaway and Jackman, and I think even for Tom Hooper for director.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it was a success. So, again, it's like he can do a musical.
Yeah. Anyways, I just wondered, he would have had to have studied the stage musical and seen it a bunch. And anyway, all those things are focusing on a single character as they sing, you know, in front of this abstract backdrop. So anyway, I wondered if that had anything to do with it.
Yeah, also, Les Miserables definitely had effects shots, but Cats is like a different beast entirely.
Cats is an animated movie, man.
Yeah, and this is a director who's clearly used to sitting there with a camera. He's used to limitations. He's used to working with actors in emotional scenes.
That movie,
and Cats is just
they grow and they grow and shrink in a scene.
Yeah, you need like James Cameron to make Cats. You need someone who's like, I know screens, I know effects films. I'm like, and it's just, it's not.
Yeah, that was woof. Anyway.
Yeah, but generally speaking, this guy makes great movies. So, I don't know.
The problem's never the directing.
No.
Anyway, this is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I like this movie.
The Damned United. Apparently, it's based on a book.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
people write
like the Moneyball
books about sports. Yeah. Yeah, some nerd fucking wrote this, and then we cool people get to watch it.
Some other fucking nerd wrote it as a movie.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Harrison Milley.
Thank you
so much. This was a delight.
Mm-hmm.
What a nice little surprise. I enjoyed. I enjoyed my afternoon watching.
I love me a Michael Sheen.
Oh yeah.
I love me a little British historical dramedy treat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. This was through our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefully unemployed, GAMEFULLY unemployed. Along with having we have a tier where you can make us watch movies. That's what this is. But also for just $5 a month, you get access to a bunch of exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, Himboos, our brand new supernatural podcast. Himboos, folks. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons. We probably won't watch this movie. Not to say that we watch good movies, but we tend to watch movies that are a little more visual.
Right, movies that you don't, because we're chit-chatting and having a good time. So this is a movie you really need to sit and listen to. We generally don't watch too many of those, but we have watched several movies with Michael Sheen in them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We also
like Tron Legacy,
like the Twilight films, like Underworld, like Timeline.
Fuck. God, we watch
Michael
awesome
Sheen's
movies.
Actually a pretty recurring character on our movie nights.
Yeah.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs by cool original artists like Michael Vincent Bramley, Starlene Hodge, Justin Brown, and others. So check that out. Rate and review wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps us out. And check out our new show, Badical, BADICAL, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Podcast.
I bet I could coach Leeds.
Yeah, I think you could. I was,
How hard could it be?
I also think I could beat any 60s athlete. I'm just calling that out.
Yeah, they smoked too much back then.
Yeah, they're like chain smoking. They're just I'm like, I could be on this team. I could play football for Leeds.
Yeah. Your best player is Tommy from Snatch, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like I could be on this team.
Yeah, count me in. Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.